We're just waiting for a substantial number of people to come in. Once we have maybe about 150, we will start. How are you all doing today? Shirlene. So who is Shirlene Esther Nafula? She is a 28-year-old multiple award-winning businesswoman. She is a founder and CEO of Crystal River Products Limited, a manufacturing company for bio-based beauty and hygiene products. Crystal River Products is a member of the China African Business Council, a US-based corporate council in Africa, and Crystal River Products is also a key stakeholder in the India, Kenya, US-Africa trade relations. And she's often invited to key policy-making forums such as the Russia-Africa, France-Africa, UK-Africa, etc. forums. She served as a convener of the Youth in Business, Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and is the co-founder for the Center for Economic Empowerment and Development, SEED. She's been a speaker on various platforms such as the Forbes Women Regional Summit, the African Youth Entrepreneur Summit, and here today on the Pan-African Women Empowerment Network session. She is a you've all read her award. On a yearly basis, she has 1, 2, 3 awards from key institutions, and I will not go through her awards because we've all read it. So ladies, it's a honor, it's a delight, it's a privilege. It's such great joy to have Shirlene join us today. Shirlene, thank you so much for honoring our invite, and it's good to have you here.
Thank you for having me as well. I'm very excited to be here. I look forward to interacting with all of you.
Thank you, thank you. And we have a number of Kenyans in the house, and really a lot of people from Eastern Africa. So I'd like you to just say special hello to your Kenyan sisters, you know, in whatever way you like.
Habari wa Kenya. Thank you for tuning in from 254. Thank you everyone from across Africa and wherever you are tuning in from. I'm glad you're here. I hope we are all going to learn from each other today.
Okay, thank you, Shirlene. So let's get into the questions because we have loads and loads of questions too. I mean, we definitely cannot exhaust all the questions. So let's go. Oh, someone is saying poor Sana. I know there's something about Sana. I need to learn I need to learn my Swahili well.
Come to Kenya, I'll teach you a lot of Swahili.
I've been to Kenya twice. In short, actually, I was in Kenya in 2019. Yes, I was in Kenya in 2019. I came for a short vacation. But when next I'm in Kenya, I'll definitely
let me know when you're here next.
Oh, definitely I will. Okay, so I'm going to going straight to the questions. So, you know, you talked about how, you know, you were denied visa to go for your master's, and then you had the idea to start hygiene products. Now, someone had asked, you know, okay, before I even go into the questions, you know, let me just ask, did you have any other business ideas, you know, in your head as at when you were starting? You know, I'm sure, I mean, I don't know, but I don't want to believe that hygiene products was the only business idea you had in mind. So did you have other business ideas? And if you did, how did you now narrow down to saying that, look, okay, I'm going to focus on hygiene products? Because, you know, as women, we're buzzing with ideas. We usually have so many ideas, and having to decide on which one to go for is usually a challenge. So share with us, how did you, you know, make this decision?
Okay, so when I started business, I had like 3 or 4 key ideas that I wanted to venture into. One was the beauty and hygiene products. The other one was the mushroom cultivation product. Because before, like, I ventured into full-time entrepreneurship, I was working at an NGO, and we were supposed to do mushroom cultivation, but the yields were not as good enough. That is actually why I left employment, because that was my main project, and the yields were not as high as expected. I was thinking of also venturing into that just as a side business. I was also thinking of going into paint manufacturing, because back then, even now, I still have the formulas, but I decided to go into beauty and hygiene because, so I had an epiphany moment where I basically had just my conversation with God. I asked him, what next? So after that moment, within a span of like 2 weeks, I met a professor at a renowned university who gave me all the standard formulas. She gave me like 20 different standard formulas for making products, which we have, of course, had to modify with time. But with those formulas and the little capital I had, I decided this is what I'll venture into.
Okay, great. Um, you know, apart from the standard questions we're going to ask, so, some members have asked, sent in questions before. And a particular lady, Victoria Johnson, had asked the question to say, I mean, we're all Africans and we're all spiritual, irrespective of whatever religion, we are. We all have this spiritual background. To say, yes, you said you heard from God. How did you know it was God? How, what gave you that conviction, that
Uh-huh.
yes, this is God speaking to you?
Life is interesting. There are moments where you get where you can't even pray. I don't want to go too spiritual because we're all from different religious backgrounds. But there are those moments you just get down and say, I can't even pray, just come down here, we talk. And so my confirmation that it was from God actually was when I met the professor exactly 2 weeks later. And like the things that were going through my head, like toilet clean. Okay, I don't know how to explain it, but that time when I woke up from bed, I kept walking through the house. It's when I realized most of these products have the same chemical ingredients, from soap to shampoo. It was like a light bulb moment as well.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
when I met the professor, that was my confirmation. Then I was like, yeah, definitely it was from God, who gave me all the standard formulas for all the things that were going through in my head and even more.
That's so great
But
to
it's that,
know. Go ahead.
uh-huh, but it's that very slow and very subtle voice that you can almost miss when you're in the hustle and bustle of life. That
Yeah.
sometimes people say it's your conscience. When you want to do something wrong, then that thing that tells you, don't do this. Okay, according to many books, they say that is usually God speaking, but everyone has their own interpretation.
Yeah, we just want to hear from you, how, because you never know, someone might just be in the same shoes, who's trying to, make that decision to say, oh, did I hear from God? Am I sure this is, and I'm sure that's the state in which Victoria is. That's why she asked the question. Okay, so our first
Mhm.
masterclass session, the masterclass session we had this month was on mindset. And, one of the things everyone agrees on is the fact that, mindset is crucial for entrepreneurial success. So can you share with us, Shirlene, how has your mindset helped you to succeed in business? Hi, Shirlene, did you hear me? Okay, we can't hear you, Shirlene. Can you hear me? Ladies, can you hear me? Let me know if it's from my side. Okay, okay. All right, then, great. Shirlene, we are having challenges hearing you. Hi, Shirlene.
Sorry, I had some technical issues on my
Okay,
end. Please come
great.
again. I'm
Great,
sorry.
great, great, great. Okay, so I mentioned about how a lot of people had said mindset is important for entrepreneurial success. So can you share with us how has I mean one what mindset must one have as an entrepreneur, and how has having a good
Mhm.
mindset helped you in your business success?
For one, entrepreneurs across the globe should remember that most times as an entrepreneur, you'll be living in a vision that only you can see. It will be hard, it will be very hard most of the times. Most of the times, you realize you'll be your own cheerleader. You have to believe in yourself so much and you have to be your own cheerleader most of the time, just pushing yourself on and on. The right mindset is very, very key because you'll get discouraged. staff will disappoint you, your clients will disappoint you, the market will disappoint you, but you have to keep pushing on, you have to keep fighting. And then I'll also like to add the fact that sometimes, yes, you get sales, but you have to have the right mindset in the sense that, how do I keep this consistent? You have some good days in business, you have some very bad days in business. Without the right mindset, you lose your balance. There's a very thin line between being of good mental health and slipping into depression or many other just mental complications that we go through during the business journey. Most of the time, you'll be your own cheerleader. Most of the times, you'll be the only one believing in your vision. Most of the time, very many people will be discouraging you. Without the right mindset, it is very easily not just to slip into depression, but to lose out and basically give up on a business idea that has the potential to change millions of lives across the world.
Okay, thank you so much, Shirlene. I missed out on some minutes there, but so my next question to you would be: now you are a salesperson at heart. I watched one of your videos where you talked about selling branded water bottles, and I'm like, what? So tell us. I mean, if you were to give us maybe like a 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes sales course. I mean, we have over 200 entrepreneurs in the room today. Would you just share with us, what should an entrepreneur know about selling and sales? And what are those skills that we need to develop?
Okay, so I prepared a few tips. I prepared like 15 minutes, very critical things that every entrepreneur should know. So don't mind in case I go back to my notes because
Please.
it's something I prepared. Okay, so basically we should all have a sales strategy. A sales strategy are documents for positioning and selling your product or service. This sales strategy will help you so that you don't go in too many cycles. In the past, I realized I used to have that mistake where without a clear vision and without something clearly documented, you find yourself repeating on the same things over and over again, and you're not really, really growing. Yes, the income might be coming, but you're not growing. So, a sales strategy is important for each and every entrepreneur. It's basically a list of all your objectives, all your clear objectives. Like a while back, in sometime last year in September, I sat down, I did sales strategies. I just did an Excel sheet. I put county, name, location, and the month, so that yes, as sales are going on January, for Kenya, for example, on January I'm concentrating for Nairobi, in February, I'm concentrating in Kajiado County, etc., etc. So that as year sales are growing around, we are also growing exponentially. And then in sales, you also need to come up with a very powerful proposition, a very powerful value proposition. This is basically where you have a competitive advantage, where you stand out from everyone else in the market. Because you realize, as young entrepreneurs, yes, we have good ideas, we have good visions, we're providing amazing products and services, but there are people who are in the market who have been doing this way much longer than we have. What sets you apart? Is it your pricing? Is it your quality? Is it your perfume? Just what is the wow factor? Is it organic? What is the wow factor that will make a client move from whichever service provider they're getting to you? And then you should also create the urgency to change for the person who's buying, in the sense that, yes, I have my shampoo. We have 10 or 20 other different shampoos in the market. But what is making person XYZ, or what is making the market choose my product as opposed to the product that is currently in the market? Because you see, there are people in the market who have been doing what you're doing. You have to come out strong. You have to create that need. Let them see they need your product or service. Let them see how, or the extra value you're bringing to the table, the additional benefit. Let them see the wow factor. Let them see that, yes, that is what I need. The price suits me, the value suits me, and everything makes perfect sense. And then in terms of the marketing, it's always good to tell a story. Tell a compelling story if that is what will sell your products. And then you have It depends. When it comes to a sales process, it's important to know whether you're dealing with a team or whether you're doing it online. So if you're having a sales team, once in a while, always, not once in a while, it's very important to train them, make them understand the goals of your business, the vision, the values of your business, where you're going from, where you're coming from, who you want to sell to, what you want to sell to, the best price, the lowest price you can go. Just make them understand your vision and your company the same way you will explain it. With that said and done, it will be way much easier for them to approach whichever client and represent your company or the product or service you're selling at the very best. And then you should also know your customer deciding journey. Are you offering your services or products to, are they B2B, that's business to business? Are they B2C, is it business to clients? You should also know the geographical region. Are you intending to sell within Africa, within Asia, within Europe, within the US? And what is your approach? Are your salespeople going to do door-to-door marketing? Are they going to do emails? Are they going to do text messages? Are they going to do over the phone conversations? And as I'm sure most of us are young, don't underestimate the power of social media. Once in a while, boost your post, not once in a while, every other time, boost your post on social media. And there's a very big difference between just boosting your post and having targeted social media posts. So when you click on Facebook, there's a place where you can just boost your post. You select either do you want do you want a lot of audience, or do you want people who are likely to get in touch? So I discovered with the two models, with the first one, you can get like with one boost, let's say for $2 per day, you can get as high as 1,000 likes, but none of them are buying. But if you target your posts on social media and you put keywords, you can have some people on board to help you with keywords. You can also just Google keywords that are likely to get the exact clients that you need. With that post, with the same $2, trust me, you won't miss on getting at least 10 very serious clients. I've tried it myself and it's amazing. So on Facebook, instead of just clicking on what is it called? On people who are likely to respond to my page, it's better you click on people who are likely to get in touch. There are two options, actually 2 or 3 options. Begin next time you're boosting your post on Facebook. And then when you boost on Facebook, it's free when you boost on Instagram as well. Don't miss out on the free things. Okay, and then it is also key to note that buyers are motivated by outside influences. Yes, your product might be good, but what is it in the economy? What is it in the ecosystem that is making your products sell? Personally, in my journey, last year we sold a lot of hand sanitizer, not because we were the best in the market, not because we're doing anything different, but because unfortunately COVID struck. And that is when we understood the power of the community and the ecosystem demanding for your products. It's a different ballgame when you actually provide products and services that are needed. We'll get to that just shortly. So another thing we should also learn is we should be disruptive, in the sense that everyone in the ecosystem is doing the same normal things. Most of the people in business are usually a little bit older, a little bit wiser, yes. But if you're introducing a new product, come up with a wow factor. Just stand out a little bit. If it's via the packaging, the service provision, just come up with a way that is a little bit wow. And then just because everyone is supplying products through, let's say, supermarkets, you can concentrate entirely on door-to-door deliveries, not go through the hassle of supplying through supermarkets, and still have your end profit. You should also realize that buyers want salespeople who tell them what they want. Most of the time, we as consumers don't really know what we want. So you, in your sales strategy, you as a person, you as a business, you as a corporation, you know, let me just say a little story about the inventor of Apple. You know, he created a wow factor in us. These days, most of us have iPhones and Apple products, not because we really need it. He made us see a need that we needed. Have you guys ever noticed that? If we could all just in our moments of thoughts and thinking come up with, how am I going to create a need out of this product that is not that much needed? If we hack that, I think we'll be on the next trajectory in business. And then we should also align ourselves with our marketing. Our marketing is basically the messages, the branding, and everything that we send out there about our companies and our products or our services. Sales is the actual selling that brings in revenue. Make sure as much as possible, if you're working as an individual, if you're working as a team, make sure the two align. Like I said, back to the social media posts, if they don't align, you can be doing a lot of marketing with a lot of followers, but not with clients who actually give you money. And the key goal is the clients who give you money. The publicity is good, but we all need to pay our bills. Sometimes it's better to have the 10 clients who will give you money than the 1,000 likes. Trust you me. And then you should also tailor your sales strategy for customer expansion. That is, there are two main elements. We have customer retention and customer expansion. So you realize in business as you grow, there are those customers who every other month, without fail, they definitely give you business. As much as we usually want to concentrate on new clients, it is critical and important to pay a lot of attention to the customers that you already have. Make sure they are satisfied. After your products or services have been delivered, do a follow-up. In case they complain, because they will always complain, please smile. Sometimes they will even throw insults at you. Just be kind and say, I will correct that mistake. Sometimes you can get clients from hell. But trust you me, every other time you learn to handle those clients from hell, those are usually some of the best clients ever. So, and when it comes to your sales team, it is very important to make sure you articulate your end results. Make sure you articulate make sure they know what exactly is expected of them, what exactly is needed of them, how they are supposed to conduct themselves. And then it is very good to focus on very small niche markets, in the sense that, yes, I'm doing soap, for example, myself, I'm doing soap. We have millions of people across the world doing soap. But when we started, when the supermarkets were not able to stock our products, we concentrated on door-to-door deliveries. So a niche market, you can create your own niche market in the sense of how you're providing the service or how you're providing the product. You can just come up with a wow factor, so that that small market of yours will always depend and rely on you. Be flexible with your methods. Sometimes business might not be as good as you want. It might not be as good as you anticipate. Sometimes you might have some sales strategy. In January, you're supposed to be doing marketing in Uganda or Tanzania, and COVID struck, or whichever circumstances happened. Be flexible. And then one thing we should also note as entrepreneurs, there's one thing I learned during UNCTAD. It is good to be very persistent with your goals, but don't be stubborn. Don't be stubborn to the point where you're literally on the spiral road to bankruptcy, but you refuse to be flexible with your methods. Sometimes it is always okay to pivot. Yes, you have that vision, you have that goal, you have that crazy dream which no one else is believing in. But try as much as possible to make sure whatever it is you're doing on a daily basis, especially when you're starting, brings food to you on the table. In the sense that, yes, you might be chasing for some $1 million deals, but don't go hungry chasing for those $1 million deals. What are the small things that I can concentrate on to make sure my rent is paid, to make sure my staff are paid, to make sure I'm on track? It's always good to have a balance. And then when it comes to sales inquiries, make sure you always have a person on board. It can be yourself. Make sure you always respond to questions. on time. I've lost a lot of business because of procrastination and delaying. One day our office admin was sick. We lost some very good business, which was very regrettable. Always make sure you have someone on standby. Just don't ignore those sales queries. And if someone has gotten in touch, call them over and over and over again till they tell you, yes, we are taking this order, or no, we can't. But just keep calling. You have nothing to lose. Keep calling and calling and calling till you get that business. And then for the regional markets, I'd say do go as far and as wide as you can. Don't say no to media interviews. They're the ones, that's how people from regional markets will get to know you. You can also boost your posts on Facebook, but intentionally target for a certain regional market that you intend to venture into. You can do adverts, you can do press, but make sure you're always within your budget. Please don't mind yourself trying to look rich, yet you're going broke. And then I'd also say it's very important to teach yourself and your team a sales pitch. Know exactly how you're going to present yourself or your company or the product or service you're selling to your potential client. So a sales pitch should basically entail a little bit of introduction, what you're selling, and the value proposition. Don't go too deep because sometimes sales can be discouraging. I just want to say a little story about sales that I ever went through. I hope this will be an encouragement to someone out there. So there's this one time when I was just starting out in business, I went to some Indian shops. I presented myself. The person was so annoyed at me. He chased me away like a chicken. He was like, go, 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 go. It discouraged me so much. I think it even made me slip into depression because I was also undergoing other things. But it's later on when I realized that you should not let that discouragement get to you. Sales is hard. Sales is tough. As I've grown in business, Indians and certain people are some of my best clients. Those people that seem the hardest at first are usually some of the best people to give you business. Because once certain contracts are in place, you're assured every other month I'll be getting a few $1,000s from this company. They might be mean, they might be hard, they might chase you away, but please don't let that discouragement get to you. It can be very hurtful, it can be very toxic, it can drain you emotionally, it can discourage you, but please keep going. Keep going. You're the vision bearer. Just keep going. Over to you, my dear.
Thank you so much, Shirlene. And I liked the practicality with which you spoke because these are the real things that, people go through. And I like what you said. Sales is hard. But I also like to add, being broke too is also hard. So you choose the hard that you want to. Would you rather push for sales and make the money, or would you just sit there being broke and not having any money? Thank you so much. Those were really powerful thoughts, and I like the fact it was just supposed to be a sales talk, but you now delved into digital marketing, which every entrepreneur in this day and age also needs. Thank you so much for that. So my next question to you is this. So you started Crystal River Products with about 10,000 Kenyan shillings, which is about $100 for ease of conversion. So can you take us through, it's easy for us to say, you started with 10,000 Kenyan shillings. Today, it's a multi-million-dollar business. It's easy to just, what were the step-by-step, maybe not, day by day, but how did you move from 10,000 shillings to a multi-million-dollar business?
So basically, I was given this 10,000. It was 10,000 shillings. It's $100 by my late grandmother. Her soul rest in peace. So it was a gift. I was very broke. I didn't know how to save. So with this 10,000 shillings, I went and registered the business. My mother was very helpful. She bought for me plastics and chemicals. She also took me to the professor who gave me all the standard formulas. So with that, she also put in quite an investment, but I can't really quantify the investment that she put in because she bought for me physical things. And after that, she was like, now you're a big girl, take care of yourself. I had a lot of products and no money. I used to take products to like my family. Let's say I'm visiting my aunt. I'm like, hey, I have a small gift for you, but now you owe me 3,000 shillings. I used to do that to my family, to my friends, to my neighbors, because I was broke. I needed some money. With time, I kept reinvesting everything I had into the business. But also note that it took me a very long while to move from my parents' house because I was so scared of what if it gets to end month and I don't have my own rent or I can't pay my own bills. But it also helped me in the sense that I saved, and everything I was getting from the business, I was reinvesting into the business. With time, so a little bit about, so with time, I was actually on Lion's Den, but long story short, I eventually turned down the investment after everything was said and done because the amount they were offering, I can now comfortably make through God's grace in a month. So then again, also entrepreneurs know that you are at liberty to turn down investors. You're at liberty to turn down things that don't make economic sense for you. Don't be so desperate that you just take a deal because you're the vision bearer. Remember that. No one can see the vision as clearly as you do. Anyway, back to the growth. So with these products, we kept selling and reinvesting everything that we had into the business. As we are growing, banks are approaching us to give us loans. Some make sense, which we are taking on board. As we are also growing, it helps us. It's basically we sell, we reinvest, we sell, we reinvest, we sell, we reinvest. But as we are growing, as banks are approaching us to take loans, we are embracing them and we are being very targeted with the loans in the sense that we don't use our loans for holidays. Once we get a particular loan, we have a very targeted approach and intention for it. If it's for sales, if it's for boosting our sales, if it's for boosting our production, if it's for boosting our marketing, we make sure that every money we get goes to the intended purpose. And that is how we are growing. Clients keep coming. God has been faithful. We are growing.
Thank you so much. And there's something you touched on that somehow I just never picked up, from all my research, that you did not take the investment. So let me go on to the, questions about Lion Den and your participation in Lion Den that has been sent in. So someone asked, okay, so let me get her name right. So I think Purity Matheri. And she says, what inspired you to go on to the KCB's Lions Den? And how did you get the confidence? Because, it takes a lot of confidence for you to walk up. And I think you were 25 as at that time. I can't remember how. You were 25.
Yes, I had just turned 25.
Okay. So, why did you go on to KCB Lions Den show and what gave you that confidence? And then, okay, let me also add the third question that came in from another person, I think Laura, to say, how did you value the company? When you went and you told them about the valuation of your company. So how did you value the company? And okay, so let me stop at that. I'll ask the other questions later.
Okay, so to be honest, I went into Lions Den because I was at a low moment in life. I was at a moment where I was the only person believing in my vision. So I needed to prove a point. I don't know if it makes sense because I was the only person seeing this vision in my head. And I was at a point where I can't keep borrowing from my parents. I couldn't keep borrowing to put money in the business. I applied, I got shortlisted, I got called in for the interview. I was actually the first lady on the den that day. It was intense, but it was nice. It got me to learn that everyone is human, no matter how rich or poor they are. And as long as you can strike conversation with them, you can get them to finance your business and help you grow. It also got me to learn that sometimes you just need to present whatever it is you're doing to the right audience. Because that was a flip moment for me in my life. I was lucky back then. I got Darshan Chandaria on board with Chandaria Capital, who gave me a lot of mentorship support. They basically helped me transition my business from a kienyeji kiosk into the corporate which we are evolving into. I owe it to them. I honestly owe it to them. There's this one time I was in a meeting with them and it made me realize that I'm in business and I don't know anything about how businesses are run. That is how I ended up applying for an MBA course. Because I didn't want to be in meetings and people are talking, I'm just like, With time, I'm learning. With time, I have to unlearn what I learn, and I keep learning. And as I keep growing, it was an amazing experience. Based on how I valued my business, honestly, to be to be honest, back then I didn't have the proper valuation techniques of how a business is run. But right now I know. Let me just share. I think 2 or 3 ways that which of how a business is to be valued. So a business is basically that time actually. That time we had just agreed with the people back there. You know how they can take you through training before you go on set.
Yeah.
And then we were like, yes, because I knew the amount I needed.
Okay.
And then I had to, back then I needed to come up with a valuation that fitted the business. But that was not the right way to do it. So a business can basically be valued in, I think, 2 or 3 ways. One is based on your income. So basically a total of your annual income. Then they project it with the growth rate. That is one. Two, it can also be valued based on the market rate of other competing businesses. So in case, let's say I'm in soap and other soap competitors are in the market and they are valued at $20 million, it can be, though you have to come up with a very strong, convincing strategy to make someone understand why it's valued at that market rate. And usually that is not the most preferred market rate. Most investors usually concentrate on how much you're making and your growth rate. They know there's a way they calculate that. Another way of valuing your business is on the input, in terms of how much you've put in the business and how far and how wide you're looking at growing. Yes, I think so far those are the three main ones. Those are the three main ways that I use to value businesses.
Okay, great, thanks. And that leads me to the next question. There's a saying in Nigeria, and also I think generally, to say, if you want to go if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go with people. And and this is just talking about the power of partnerships in business. So, how would you say partnerships has helped you as a business? Also adding one of the questions that has come in from one of the participants. What do you look out for when selecting a partner? And what are the pitfalls to also, avoid?
Okay, so I'd like to first say a little story before I get to your question. So when I started business, I was this naive young girl. At some point, it was so bad. I wanted perfection in everything. I wanted perfection in the service delivery. I wanted to make sure I'm smiling when I'm delivering the product. I wanted to make sure the person is happy. I wanted to make sure the product is of perfect quality. I wanted to make sure everything was done perfectly. But without me realizing, I was taking as long as a month to deliver orders. I was taking, and this was affecting my business. So I attended a training at UNCTAD. It was known as Empretech. That is when a flip in my brain happened. So basically, the lecturer talked to us and he asked us, who is the richest man in Kenya? We were like, ABCD. How many businesses does he have? So ABCD. Is he there to manage all his operations on a daily basis? We're like, no. We're like, wow. So we're basically taught how to use people as tools, not in a bad way, but as a business owner, as a CEO, as a leader, you need to get to the point where you learn how to use human resources as tools. Train them well enough to the point where they can do exactly what it is you need done. You don't have to go breaking your back trying to do everything. In the process of trying to be perfect, you're losing out on so much. And you don't have to get full-time employees. At the moment, we have over 30 different people who we work with on incentivized model. I pay my riders on a daily basis based on the work they have done, not on a monthly basis. I pay my salespeople, some of my salespeople, based on what they are bringing in. So I can't be in Nairobi and Nakuru and Naivasha and Bungoma at the same time. But I can have people who can help me achieve my objectives as long as I train them well and I bring them on board very well. So onto your question of partnerships, even before you get to external partnerships, make sure within your team you have people who can achieve your objectives very, very well. You can train them, you can teach them, you can instill in them hard enough for them to understand what exactly it is you need done. For partnerships, I have had different partners in different levels and different categories. Like I said, a while back, we partnered with Chandaria Capital, who helped me transition from a kienyeji, like a kiosk type of business, into the corporate that we are growing into. They basically provided me with a lot of mentorship and support and training, and basically just one-on-one sessions that helped me see my business at a different scale. In terms of what to look for in partners, make sure you're looking for partners who are bringing the exact value that you need on board. Instead, personally, for my example, instead of buying 50 lorries to help me distribute my products across Kenya and sometimes some parts of East Africa, we have partnered with logistics providers. We have over 10 different logistic providers who help us distribute our products. We have distributors. It comes to a point where you don't want, it's good to grow. There's a boss, the first and only job I ever worked with, I interacted with a boss, my first and only boss. He told me, if you want to grow, if you want to eat, eat alone. If you want to eat, make sure you're eating with people. In the same way, in the same sense that, yes, as you're growing, you want to have all the profits and all the money to yourself. But there's this Ubuntu model where if you just decide to share a little bit, share your risks, share your costs across people, you'll find yourself growing at a faster rate. I've partnered with over 20 different distributors as at now in different counties of Kenya. In Kenya, we have counties. In other countries, I think they're provinces. So these people, we basically supply to them products in bulk. Sometimes we send to them products on credit basis. And they're the ones who have the sole responsibility of making sure that these products are in supermarkets, wholesalers, shops, kiosks, basically just diversifying and spreading the risk. Sometimes they delay to pay us, yes, but without them, we would not have been on some shelves, we will not have gotten certain clients. And then when it comes to online, we have partnered with a number of online platforms such as Glovo, Gigi, and Jumia to make sure our products have as wide reach as possible. Basically, they do door-to-door deliveries. It's very, very important to partner because you can't grow alone. In terms of associations, we have partnered with bodies such as Kenya National Chambers of Commerce and Industry. We've partnered with Kenya Association of Manufacturers. We have Kenya Private Sector Alliance. That is how you get access to opportunities. Because you see, how these old school people do things, you find that information is passed to the government passes information to these bodies. If you are not attached or affiliated to these bodies, you will never know what is happening. As long as you don't know what is happening, you're losing out on opportunities. We find that most of these bodies have so many opportunities for us as young people. They have opportunities for travel, they have opportunities for training, they have opportunities for mentorship, they have opportunities for support, financial support, physical support, in case you're having problems with city council or any other trading licenses problems. They have systems in place to enable us as young entrepreneurs mitigate these risks and challenges. But as long as you're not affiliated to these organizations, you'll never really know. And then another thing about these organizations, they'll help you to connect to a wide range of people who in one way or another will be your client base. I've traveled quite a little bit. Some purely paid trips, some partly paid, some partly paid, some paid by myself. But most of these opportunities that have been presented to me through these bodies. No man lives in an island. The government receives these opportunities they present to these organizations. If you're not visible at these organizations, there is no way the right information and the right opportunities will get to you. So partner as much as possible. Go as wide and as far as you can. That's the only way to grow.
Thank you so much, Shirlene. So, ladies, there's something that she has said, and I'm going to give it as an assignment to everyone who's listening. Find the local business community that you have in your country or in your state and make sure you join. In Nigeria, I know it's by states. So, I mean, you have Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and then I think you also have the Nigerian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. So every country has these chambers of commerce and industries or local business communities. Please make sure that you join. You heard what she said. Information is passed directly from government to these chambers or business bodies, and you'll never know what is happening. And whether we like it or not, as it is in Africa today, the government has a say in deciding the fate of businesses, whether you like it or not, because they make the regulations, they make the policies that affect your business. So that is an assignment for everyone to do. We're not going to monitor it, but for your sake and for the sake of your business, please go and do it. Now, Shirlene, you've talked a lot about, and I want to emphasize a bit on this, where you said, you had people like Dashan who has helped you, expose your vision, the way you see your business, and how sometimes we can be limited by our backgrounds and the limits of our exposure. But now you had mentors who helped you elevate your vision and help you to change give a paradigm shift with respect to how you saw your business. So now for anyone who's thinking of choosing a mentor, a business mentor now, to help grow their business, what are those characteristics that they should look out for?
When you're looking for partners, basically, it is very good, first of all, to know exactly what it is. Sorry, have I cut you short?
No, I'm fine. I'm done.
Okay. So when you're looking for partners, it's very good to know exactly what it is you're presenting as a business, the value you're bringing on board, and where exactly you want to go. How you want to go there is where these partners come on board. You need to find partners who bring value to the table. You should not get yourself into one-sided deals. It is okay to stand down investors. So far, I've turned down over 30 different investors. Are they going where you're going? Do they see your vision as clearly as you do? What value are they bringing to the table? Is it mentorship you want? Is it help with your accounts? Is it help with your bookkeeping? Is it help with your marketing? How qualified are they in the area that you need to grow in? Avoid one-sided deals. And you should also be careful. Not everyone is straightforward. We have some con people out here. Be very careful in whom you engage, in whom you expose your business to. People are human beings. Some can some can swindle you as you smile. But just look for people who bring the exact value that you need on board. Look for exactly what you need. Make sure you bring that on board. If you are lacking in marketing, if you're lacking in accounting, if you're lacking in sales, if you're lacking in is it tech-based issues, make sure the people you bring on board have that competency, and make sure they're not so expensive to the point where they can burn down your business. Always try as much as possible. It's a win-win. Make sure it's more of a win for you than it is for them.
Thank you, Shirley. So that leads me to my next question. So here you were young in business and you just got to a point where you just realized that you had too many staff. And I like that that situation, because I know a lot of entrepreneurs who also face that problem, where they just say that I have a lot of staff and they're not doing anything, and at the end of the month I have to pay them, and it's not like they're not good, or it's not that they're not qualified, but they're not just adding value that you'd expect. And then you then decided to transit your business model. Can you share with us that experience and how you transited your business model and what it looks like now?
Okay, so I like telling stories. Let me tell my story. So when I was just launching my business, I had this mindset where it's business, it's all going to be glorious and fun and wow. Well, shock on me. So I had 2 offices which I was paying rent for. I had, was it 4 or 5 staff who I was paying on a monthly basis. I just assumed things would fall in place automatically. I had a very bad landlord who used to call me on the 27th of every month to remind me it's end month and I need to pay rent. So it hit me this certain month where it got to end month. The amount that we were getting was not enough to pay the rent, was not enough to pay the bills, was not enough to pay these people. I had very, very bad ulcers. I was taken to hospital. It was but it clicked a light bulb on me because it was so bad. I forgot to say it was so bad. One Sunday morning, I woke up. These people were outside my house asking for their pay, saying you have money to fuel your car. You don't have money to pay us. This is on a Sunday morning. You're waking up to go to church. So this series of events eventually, now after I came out of hospital, I was like, I'm determined. This is my vision. I got some temporary job, which I used to pay off the two ladies. The other gentlemen, I had paid them. I paid them off. I closed the shop. Imagine the shop was better off closed than running, because at least now we had less expenses. At least I paid them off later on, but it gave me a light bulb moment. When I got from hospital, I decided to do everything on my own. I learned how to make the perfect products. I learned how to be the best marketer. I learned how to be the best salesperson. I learned accounting. I even learned how to make my own website using Wix.com. I used to do everything that pertains to running my business. Literally everything. Everything, from picking calls to doing deliveries to everything. But believe it or not, this is the very first time I got to enjoy the little profits I had from my business. Because back then, money used to come and go. Money used to come, I pay people. Money used to come, I pay bills. This is the first time I enjoyed the little profits from my business. Afterwards, as I when you enjoy money, there's something that happens different because now it's a different vibe. But now with time, it's when I learned that I don't need to have 5 or 10 people working for me all the time. After I learned how to sweat for that little money I got, it's when I made sure each and every staff of mine had to work. There's this one time I had a young girl who used to come to the office, watch movies all day, and go back home. Maki, she was forgetting, apart from the retainer, she was earning a commission based on the sales she was getting. With time, once I knew the value of working for my money and enjoying the sweat, that is when I decided I'm not going to pay anyone who will just come and sit here from Monday to Monday doing nothing. With time, as the work, like, it outgrew me. I couldn't be the one doing everything. When like the orders were enough, I got some people to help me on production. But even as at now, not all of them are on full-time basis. There are some who only bring them on board when you have a lot of orders. Because when there are no orders, they'll be just sitting there in the office, and at end month, they'll want to be paid. With time, as at now, we have an accountant who comes in once a month to do our books. He's not there full-time, so we don't pay him as much. Our riders, who, based on average market rate, they actually paid quite well because we pay them per delivery. We have partnered with people across Kenya. We have sales agents who, apart from their retainer, some are purely on retainer, some are on retainer and commission, some are purely on commission, based on how much they can bring to the table. Basically, also based on their work ethic and their drive. So it's basically a model where, yes, I'll help you grow, but we'll have to help each other. There's nothing one-sided.
I like that, and I like the fact that, I like that point that you made, because I mean, I've worked with owner-managed businesses pretty much all of my career before I decided to go into entrepreneurship, and that is a career that spanned about 20 years. And you see, what you have said is what has ruined a lot of the companies I have worked with. The fact that you have overheads in terms of staff salary, staff who are not adding value to the output, or staff who are more or less, having a negative value. It's bad enough if you're not having a positive value, but you're not having a negative value on the business. So many businesses have gone down. So ladies, I plead with you, because I have seen this happen, and it happens to the best of us. Ensure that when you're selecting staff, you're getting staff who are adding value to your business, not only in the immediate term, but also in the long term. And please consider Shirlene's model. I think it works really well. Yeah. Thank you, Shirlene. So that takes me to my next question, which is pretty much asking, looking at we have so many Eastern African participants in our cohort. What are those trends that you are seeing? More like giving them business tips. What are those trends that you have seen in the business landscape in Eastern Africa that you think they need to latch on?
There are many opportunities. For one, every time I'm these days I have a go down at industrial area, but I realize
Hi, Shirlene.
export avocados to.
Okay. So can you start
Is my
again?
sound
Because
okay?
yes, can you just start again, please?
Oh, okay. I was talking about manufacturing and how not enough young people are into manufacturing. Most of the times I'm alone in industrial area. Yet there are very many spaces that young people can use. We have a lot of underutilized land resources. Not enough of us are venturing into agribusiness. I was part of the team that pre-negotiated the deal for Kenya to export avocados to China. Basically, at that time, China was opening up its borders to the rest of the world, and we generally as Africans, we're not being aggressive enough in terms of the opportunities that are being presented to us. There is also a lot of opportunity in the tech space. The online food and basically products delivery space is growing very, very fast. It's an opportunity that we can all look into. And then we should also note that when you get back to manufacturing, we import a lot of our products from the West. I'm not being racist or anything, but it's time as Africans we start using products made in Africa for the rest of Africa. At the moment, we have Africa Continental Free Trade Area. That basically means I can be able to sell my product or services across anywhere I want in Africa. Why are we lagging behind in the opportunities that are being presented to us? That basically means with the right things in place, I can sell my products in Nigeria, Ghana, Liberia. That means someone in Sudan can work in Somalia. With a lot of things that are being put in place to boost up the trade ecosystems, we should make sure as much as possible we are just getting our slice of the cake, even if it's very, very small. And no one will present these things to us on a silver platter. We have to fight for them. We have to let them know that yes, we are here and we are fighting for them. And then there's also a lot of opportunity in the tourism sector, especially even before COVID. You realize that Africa is very rich in resources, is very rich in culture and destinations. We're not selling Africa the right way. There are a lot of things to sell in Africa.
Thank you. Okay, so the last question
Over
I'd
to you.
ask, because we have so many questions, in the live session. I'm not even going to call for extra questions because we can't exhaust the questions that we have. So my final question would be, before I go to the last question, in your entrepreneurial journey, tell us 10 key lessons that you have learned that you'd like to share with our participants.
Okay. As always, start small. Number one, start small. This will help you mitigate the risks, the challenges. It will help you learn as you grow. Two, think big. Yes, you're starting with $100, you're starting with $50, you're starting with $50,000, whichever your small is. But think big. Think so big. Like for me, for example, in my case, I want to have my products sold globally, across the globe. And we're actively looking for and getting partners who actually want to make this dream come to pass. Start small, one, two, think big. Three, enjoy the process. It will not always be easy. It will be hard. Let me not lie to you. It will be hard over and over again. You'll cry yourself to sleep. Some days you won't want to get out of bed. Some days you'll question your own sanity. Some days you'll make good business, a very good business. Some days you'll feel fired up and ready to conquer the world. But just enjoy the process. Learn to have, try as much as possible to have a balance between the good days and the bad days. Three, don't go broke trying to look rich. As young people, you might have those days where you get some good money, you want to floss it all over IG. It's good. There's nothing wrong with that. After all, you worked for it, right? But don't go broke trying to look rich. Most of us, most days when you have money, we don't even post photos on social media. And then the journey will call for a lot of self-sacrifices. It won't always be rosy and gold. You'll have to deny yourselves a lot of things. Sometimes I'm usually broke, but I have money in my account because that money is not mine, it's for paying people. You have to be willing to sacrifice. And then you need to remember that you'll be your own cheerleader a lot of the times. So make sure you're doing a good job at it. No one else will see your vision as clearly as you do. Do a good job at being your own cheerleader. And then wake up determined, work hard, go to bed satisfied. If the end of the day reaches and you're not yet tired enough, if you feel like you've not yet accomplished what you needed to do or achieve whatever you needed to do within the course of the day, you're not yet working hard enough. And then don't let the discouragements get to your head. There'll be many. Even if anything, just use them as a stepping stone and as a motivation to be the best version of yourself and to prove everyone wrong. And then market. Don't underestimate the power of marketing. Don't underestimate the power of selling. Make sure everyone in your network knows what you do. You have nothing to lose by spamming people in your WhatsApp or your text, by letting them know what you do. Trust me, with time, at least one or two of them will be clients. Don't say no to any publicity or media adverts. They'll help grow your business. And then stay consistent. Business won't always be good, but try as much as possible to provide excellence in whatever it is you're doing, in the product or service you're delivering. As long as you're consistent, there's that one client who didn't buy something in March, in June he might need it, and as long as you're still in the business, he or she will give you some business. And then one last thing before I get to the very, very last one. Most of the times we as entrepreneurs don't show our true selves on social media. Let me not lie to you. Most of the time when I have a lot of money, like when I have a lot of money coming in, there's this one time I found myself in town with slippers because I have been so busy. I didn't have time to go back to the house and change, and I don't know do what. So just put your pride aside and hustle like that dropout. It's good to post on social media, but that is once in a while. Don't let pride make you think like you can't do certain things or you can't. Just break yourself in order to make yourself. I don't know if I make sense.
You do.
And last but not least, I'd like to say be humble. It's the only way to go up. I've interacted with some of the richest men across the globe. I've interacted with Jack Ma. I've interacted with a lot of rich men. Trust me, they're some of the most humble people I know. As you go higher, it can only be, as you grow in business, it can only be higher. Stay humble.
Thank you so much, Shirlene. Let's dive into the questions that have come from participants. So Elizabeth asked a question to say there's this debate whether it's advisable to scale up with your funds or not. What's your take on it? What are the pros and cons?
To scale up with your what?
With your own funds, should you use your own funds or should you use equity funding or external funding?
Both ways work. It depends on what you want and where you want to see the business grow. With time, definitely it will get to a point, trust you me, you can't keep reinvesting in your business. Like even as at right now, we're expecting some orders from big people. If we can't get external financing to support that, there's no way we'll be able to meet that need. With time, as you grow organically and as you build your books, yes, it is okay to build yourself, but as you grow even higher, there is no harm in seeking external sources of financing. Most of these big corporations are having loans and equity financings from different sectors and different service providers.
Okay, so someone asked a question, and when you talked about how you started and you were giving your family and friends the products, and you tell them that, look, you owe me 3,000 shillings. Did they pay back?
Yes, they did. They did. With business, when you're broke, you know how to collect debts. You don't joke with your debts. They paid in full.
Okay, thank you for that. Someone asked, what accounting system do you use or do you advise entrepreneurs to use?
There's this other one that has previously been, I've forgotten the name. Is it Wave? But most recently they changed it because now people from across Africa can't use it. I think they were changing their marketing strategy to people just from the US. But Wave was very, very good. You could just put in your statements. It generates for you all the documents.
Okay.
Web was really, really good. Then we also have QuickBooks. And once in a while, just sacrifice some $10 or $20. You have an accountant to come help you. They can come help you in an hour's time if they're very good. And then you give them a token of appreciation instead of having a full-time accountant.
All right. So another question here from Eddie John. She says her business is a service business, but she's having problems getting customers to pay for the services. So she's asking that should she offer her services for free? Would this help her business?
If offering your services for free makes sense, you can offer, but don't offer them for free in the sense that they lose value. You can give like a free trial based offer. You can cluster your services in like 1, 2, 3. You say, I'll do this for free. And then if you see how good or how exceptional our services are or how much you need them, yes, now you can come on board. Don't make the free so obvious such that it loses value. But yes, you can offer them at minimal cost. You can say that's like the first engagement. Then with the consecutive engagements, after they've seen value for your work, they can pay.
Okay, fantastic. So, I mean, we cannot, have this session without asking questions that relate with gender. Yeah. So, two questions. One question, and I'll add the two together to say, does gender play any role in business success? And then the part B of that question is, how do you manage family? So someone asked, did you even ever have leisure time at all? So how do you manage, business, family, and, personal life?
I'd say actually in this day and age, the ecosystem has favored us as women and as young girls. I've received a lot of support because I'm a woman. Yes, there are flips. There are both pros and cons, but I've received a lot of support in terms of access to, let's say, government tenders, access to financing, access to a lot of things that help one grow in the business ecosystem because I'm a woman. And in Africa, there's that wave where we're empowering the girl child. It's easier to be a girl child at this day and age. And then in terms of family, as I've grown, I have learned to use people to achieve my objectives. Not in a harsh way, but I'm at a place where I can comfortably be out of the office. I rarely go to the office because I'm usually up and down. I'm at a place where I can actually be in the house or be up and down running, but I have people making sure things are getting done. As you grow, as you learn to as you learn to make the most of human resource, it's actually very easy. It's very easy to juggle between work and life, because I have a lot of free time. I have staff working for me.
I mean, I like
Yes.
the fact when you talked about that. When you said that by 4 p.m. you were at home, I was like, wow, that's really good. That's really, really good. Um, I'm just trying to see which question to select. There's so many questions. Okay, someone asked a question that, can you share with us a time where you really failed? I mean, you really messed up. you know, I mean, share. I mean, the question is, how did you get out of that space? Because sometimes we mess up, and a number of us just tend to get stuck, in that phase. So share with us a time when you really messed up, and how, most importantly, how you came out of that space.
I think for me, the time when I messed up the most, when I had the flip moment, when I had very bad ulcers. At first I had a lot of employees, I had a lot of bills to pay, and I really didn't know how to run a business. So after being admitted in the hospital, when I got out of hospital, I sat down with myself. Those days where you have a conversation with yourself, I'm like, this is not working, this is working. This is how we're going to proceed, because I was at a point where I needed to prove everyone wrong. To be honest, I was at a point where I even needed to prove my own parents wrong because they thought I was crazy. And I was seeing the vision so clearly. I don't know if they couldn't see it. But I think that is one moment where that was my lowest moment. I was in hospital, it was bad. I had very, very bad ulcers. But afterwards, I just had that conversation with myself and I decided this is where I want to go. This is what I want to do. And I'm going to prove them all wrong, one step at a time. Yes.
Okay. Great. So we have another question here to say, have you ever had a situation where a client orders for a product and then they refuse to accept it when you deliver it? Has it ever happened to you? And how did you deal with it?
It has happened so many times. So many times, sometimes you want to cry. Sometimes you've sent products over to Mombasa. And sometimes their products were so much. And sometimes there's this one time the client refused because the logistics providers did not handle the products well. Now you see, because our products are liquid, some had poured, some had fallen. I had this particular time I had to bring on board a friend of mine who's in Mombasa. I told her, kindly go clean the products one by one, repack them one by one, make sure that everything that is clean can be delivered. So she took time off her work to make sure these products were delivered. She went and kind of like sweet talk to the client till she accepted. Sometimes some clients refuse, they send back our products. Sometimes you just need to have a thick skin. If the products come back too bad, you can't cry yourself to sleep. This is business. You need to be tough.
And I like what you say, because a lot of people come into business and think business is easy, and then they give up, you know, just before, the success starts coming in. I like the fact you keep emphasizing that business is not easy, but it is worth it. So ladies everywhere, business is not easy, but it is worth it. You would enjoy the benefits if you just hang in there. Now, someone is asking that, do you use any marketing agency, and is there any marketing agency that that deal with SMEs in Kenya that you can recommend?
At the moment, I do not know any marketing agencies. Personally, we have individual contracts with our marketers. And even, yeah, we do our own marketing in-house. I'm not, I don't know.
Okay, no, that's fine. I mean, I just thought to ask, because it can also help people. Now, okay, so I think this will be my final question. No, so not my final question. The penultimate question. Just before I ask. Now, one of the things that I always tell my people is, your ability to ask the right question makes the difference between failure and success in business, in career, and in every space. So, would you share with us, how you've been able to train yourself to ask the right questions?
So basically, especially when I'm interacting with high profile people and people have potential to have an impact in my life, I practice the elevator pitch in my head. So instead of just going on and on and on telling stories that are going nowhere, I'd rather have that one comment or that one statement that makes sure leaves an impact. I think we all know a little bit about the elevator pitch, where we basically just need to get the most information out there to your audience or intended person within like an elevator speed. So I try as much as possible to ask the right questions to the right people. And then I also don't discriminate. With time, I've come to realize that everyone plays a role in the ecosystem. It comes from how you treat the watchman when you're entering a building, how you treat a secretary, how you treat the CEO. No one is above the other. All under different circumstances can present to you different opportunities. Treat everyone well. Just everyone in the ecosystem. Ask the right questions, treat everyone well. That watchman might have so much information, you'll be amazed.
Thank you so much, Shirlene. So, my final question: what will be your parting words to over 1,000 ladies who are live now or who would watch this session later?
Um, we will all make it. Don't
Yes.
get discouraged. We
Yes.
will all definitely make it.
Wow, Shirlene, it's been wonderful is an understatement, really. I mean, I like the candor with which you spoke. It's not everyone who is as down to earth as you have been in this session. And I just say thank you. Thank you for honoring our
Thank
call.
you.
Thank you for the time you put in to ensure that, this has been you need to see the comments. I mean, if you can check the comment, it has been awesome, it has been practical, it has been useful, it has been life-changing, and most importantly, I think we can all relate with your story. I mean, when I saw you online, I'm like, this is an inspiration. Not getting to meet you and getting to speak with you, I don't even know what to say. You're just an awesome inspiration. Thank you so much, Shirley, for the work that you're doing. Thank you for inspiring us. Thank you for your vision. Thank you so much. We can't but thank you enough. Ladies, I know we had a lot of questions. There were some questions that I skipped.
Thank you for having me as well.
Thank you. No, the pleasure is ours, Shirley. The pleasure is really ours. So, ladies, the questions I missed, I mean, we still have more than 14 sessions to go. So some of the questions you've asked you'll be dealt with in some of the other master classes or the MentorMe sessions that we'll be taking. So ladies, just take a chill. We will get this right. We'll get the act of, succeeding in business right. Thank you so much, Shirley. Thank you all for joining. Thank you all for those who joined on YouTube. We see you. We appreciate you. And yeah, see you in your inbox. We'll send you emails, before the end of the week. Thank you, Shirley, and do enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Have a good day as well.
And you too.